don't need help and you can own the lane by yourself. But we'll see whether compLexity actually does the same thing. They challenge the Kling's farm like last game.
And even though the PL didn't do well
He didn't
in lane,
do that well.
PL's actually another really good hero against Klinks. Like Klinks at any time in the mid to late game cannot
You
fight.
still want to slow the Klinks
PL.
down. If you slow the Klinks down enough, you have access to Roche. If the Klinks is too farmed, then they get Roche and the game becomes a lot harder for
When
them.
you pressure that lane, if you can take that tier 1 bottom tower on the Radiant side early, you get full access to the jungle, you secure yourself Roche, like you mentioned, so... Oh, sorry, they're on the Radiant, so it's I guess, but... They get the Beast Map.
So this is Swindle's hero. They are initiating hero. It can be used as team fight. It can be used as a speed push as well because it gives you a lot of information with the Hawk. So you know that when EG is gonna group up and when EG is gonna move. So this time around they have their hard disable like Blitz mentioned. They needed a hero that can lock down and be their hard support and help them with Roshan as well.
Their team fight's still extremely weak though.
I mean for Cole.
For compLexity, yeah.
I think it's okay. Depends on how they balance out the draft. I like Beastmaster in this though. Like Winter said, part of split push, what it mainly comes down to, people don't realize is it's not even the heroes, it's like the vision that you're able to set up around the map.
Yeah, vision is really important.
Yeah. And especially against like Klinks, you have a hero like Beastmaster who locks him down really well, is naturally going to build for vision 2. You're going to get a gem at some point, you're going to pick up a Necro Book 3. Pretty effective.
So we saw the 4th pick, it was Enchantress.
Oh, that's really... I like that a lot, especially against the Enigma, because you can abuse the laning phase a lot with that hero.
Do you think that she's gonna follow Enigma around?
No, I think she's just going to invade safe lane / mid lane a lot.
You guys don't think this is going to be a... Is there a chance this is a core Enchantress?
And then Beastmaster.
I say no, typically like if I saw this draft a typical 4 position Enchantress, but it's... See Swindles plays this hero more than anyone. Like on the team as well as just
but I
in
think
general.
Klings is pretty good versus Enchantress in the lane.
It's kind of goes both ways. I want to say like the laning stage itself, Enchantress can play the Klinks a lot, but you do have kill potential in Enchantress later with once you're level 6 have strafe and all that. But I think early on Enchantress does very well at pressuring Klinks in lane. It could just be Enchantress Beastmaster off lane, and if they want to get some kind of solo safe lane.
Oh yeah, that is.
I think that's Enchantress Beastmaster is a very strong lane.
That lane is really good.
I'm pretty sure Swindles is the Enchantress player, so even if it's more of a jungle Enchantress, he may be on the hero.
Kind of like Moo style that Archon ran yesterday.
Yeah.
Where they let Whitebeard take the lane, but Moo eventually came in with the creep and took up the majority of the farm.
I'd really like that from as far as pressuring the Klinks' lane, and then it all comes down to what kind of safe lane hero they can pick up for Limp will pay the tiny, so Chessie, so some kind of safe lane solo.
Regardless of what happens, it's going to be both of them together, the Beastmaster and the Enchantress. It doesn't matter who plays who.
So they're gonna pressure Klings a lot, I imagine. Do you guys think that they're gonna just run over the lane against Klings and Venge?
It's really hard for Klinks Venge, I think.
If you played any games on a China server, that's like all the off lanes are. It's 2 heroes like Doom or Ench in the jungle just constantly owning your safe lane.
EG actually banning out the Brood here. Not really anticipating, like you guys are wagering, that it's going to be more of a self-sufficient safe laner.
I'm very surprised.
Brood could solo the safe lane. It's not.
I mean, yeah.
Against Tide, it's like it wouldn't make the most sense, but
We don't even know compLexity even play a lot of Brood at all.
How can they fit
Chessie
Brood?
plays the Brood.
How can they
okay.
fit Brood?
I don't know,
Just
but
not recently.
I don't know how they fit the Brood in the
safe lane
lineup.
solo.
So they put safe lane solo.
Well, that's why I've been.
But then they get Tidehunter.
It's against Tide.
Yeah,
Tide's
yeah,
fine with that.
I think it'd be fine for EG because of the Tide, but I think compLexity are looking for that kind of safe lane here if they want to do Beastmaster Enchantress off lane.
It seems strange though. Maybe they're just worried that Klings will go up against a Brood, and I don't know.
I think it's more the overall strategy where EG are very teamfight, 5-man focused, and Brood can maybe throw that off a bit. And Brood can still lane against Tide 1v1. You can mix up your build, go for more in the passive. It's not like you're never going to pick Brood because Tide's still there.
So EG are looking for their mid hero as a last
Sumail hero, yeah.
Sumail hero. Is Zeus still available?
I think even Invoker is still out
Invoker
there.
still available?
Yeah, Invoker's still
It is
available.
IO Tiny though, and he's not going to get much help because Enigma's in the jungle, at least until Enigma gets level 6, so it's going to be a tough lane.
You need a hero that can actually lane really well against that.
Lena, maybe?
Lina was banned. Lina was
Is
always
Puck,
banned.
Puck still there?
At the end.
I can't remember. I think Puck
I
is
think
still
Puck
there.
is still
Yeah,
there.
Puck should be still there. And it's team fight, you know, Puck, Tidehunter, Enigma.
5 seconds remaining of.
But like what Blitz mentioned, maybe they need a bit more.
Queen.
Okay, it's still
Yeah,
team
that's
fight.
good.
And but quite okay in the lane.
If
but,
you get Avalanche, then Toss and Tower, you can blink away at least. So you have an
yeah,
escape.
but it's still like when Tiny has level 4, level 5, they can still kill you.
It's not level 2, you're dead though.
Yeah.
That was what we saw last game where as Ember.
What are you laughing about? Level 2, you're dead.
Yeah, he got
It's
tossed to the
late.
tower.
Yeah, Tiny got level 2, maybe it was level 3, I don't know. But it was once you have Avatos, you're dead because you get thrown under the tower. The tether blow hits you. The way compLexity just played those two heroes was perfect.
We'll have to see now how compLexity are going to be running out their 5-man spread. Still anticipating the Chessie grab here, a self-sufficient kind of a hero to bring it home.
This were MVP, they would have taken Leshrac, Ben.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think Brewmaster would have been.
compLexity ran a lot of support Lash.
I would have been totally okay with Brew this game.
Is it okay? Because
Guessing
you,
Brew?
I don't
You-
think it's good enough late game.
I was gonna say you made the call before that compLexity are lacking in the team fight, but it seems like they changed gears and
Yeah.
going more push, lane aggression. Do they still need to fall back for some sort of team fight, or keep moving forward with the aggression?
I think winning the lanes and split
Yeah.
pushing seems to be the plan for them.
Mhm.
Because Enchantress is not a teamfight hero as well. She
Yeah.
wins you the lane and then she proceeds to, you need to be ahead as
They could pick
as
something like
Enchantress.
Razor against the Tide. Razor could be quite good.
I think they just need to pick a good lane, like a lane that can crush the tide.
I think the Razor, though, doesn't offer you much past the laning phase. It's like a
Tank.
very
It's like
static
You can
hero.
tank and not die to the team fight, I guess, is the.
Super static, though. Like, you can't run around the map. You're gonna get isolated
I
and
think
caught out. a lot.
Invoker might be good for them too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because you have the lane dominance plus you have split push with your Forge, and you have Disable. You can buy time. And I think it's one of Chessie's favorite heroes
Yeah,
because I
it's
remember.
their third most picked hero, but they're going to be going with a Death Prophet. We
So
haven't seen much of it this
What are the
tournament
lanes?
at all.
Which Tiny safe lane?
Let's say do Death Prophet,
Death
safe
Prophet
lane
safe lane?
versus Tide.
Fine, I think. The Prophet, Spirit Siphon.
Yeah, Tide.
like
Tide
best
The
thing ever.
1v1 is fine. The danger is that you see a Death Prophet solo safe lane, that's like the most obvious lane to gank. If you're Fear, you're
Yeah.
thinking my first rotation goes to that Death Prophet. PD could even ditch Arteezy and go for an early gank, so it's a very vulnerable lane, even though the 1v1
Yeah,
matchup's
she's
fine.
very easy to gank. That is like the biggest issue of the hero. If they were to put her on the safe lane, but they might still do like a Wisp Tiny safe lane, so we are not sure about that. We'll just have to see how the laning phase goes for compLexity. Because the last game they did lanes that we did not expect at all. They had the on the off lane.
Now that we've seen the draft here, before we send it over to our casters, couches, predictions, based on what we see.
I think I'm gonna go with EG again still.
They have team fight this time. They don't need to win the lanes.
Couch EG over here. You two?
With compLexity Winter, what do you think?
The certainty
That's
in his
so
voice.
timid.
Yes.
I'm just not sure about the Death Prophet.
I
Like,
mean, we are supposed to support completely, but looking at the draft, it's quite easy for EG to play the game.
if Death Prophet
this way.
doesn't have a rough time, I think Plexi win. But I think Death Prophet will have a rough time.
Yeah,
So
that's-
I
that's
think
what I
EG
think
will
too.
win just because they can shut Death Prophet down. But if Plexi wins, it's because Death Prophet does really well.
We'll see what it's going to be. We'll send it over to casters now. It's going to be Odie and Draskell. Gentlemen, first blood's coming, potentially.
Well, there's no chance for that one, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's game 2 here, compLexity EG. I'm Odie Pixel, and I'm here with Draskell and Andy. Seeing some similarities from game 1, going, transitioning here into game 2, but switching it up a little bit. We're seeing some favourites. We're going to see the Fear Enigma coming out for the side of EG. Artur's sticking with his Clinks. Other things to mention, obviously, the fact that they were talking about in the draft. We're going to see the Chessie Death Prophet.
Yeah, it's a hero that up until this point has not been picked at all, I think, right? Or maybe it's been picked like once or twice, but either way, it could be interesting to see how they play it out here. Looks like it will be going mid, starts with the Null Talisman or maybe even the safe lane, I guess, because Handskin's kind of sticking around here too. But I kind of agree with the couch who sided with EG. I think their lineup is greedy in a good way. So you have the Tide Hunter, who's going to be able to get something out of his lane pretty much no matter what. It's very hard to kill the hero, and even if you don't have a great lane, you can still go back and kill jungle stacks and things like that. You have Enigma, who is going to be very hard to pressure, and I also feel like it's a greedier pick than an Enchantress. So Enchantress is a type of hero that wants to try to control the laning phase. You want to try to dictate the tempo of the early game, and if you don't do it successfully, then Enigma just becomes better because he gets more out of the jungle. His teamfight presence is obviously going to be greater. So I think I agree with the couch who is siding with EG that their lineup is just a bit easier to use.
In terms of lanes as well, this mid lane, So again, Limp and Hanskin on the Tiny Eye that we saw do an incredible amount of work in game 1. Should Limp have just as easy of a time farming up against the Quap as he did, of course, against the Ember? Or is it going to be a little bit more tricky?
Queen's a little bit tougher because the Wisp can't reliably trade against Queen. Basically going to be relying on the mana that you gain through Bottle of Handskin to throw like tosses out, you know, harass, things like that, go for CS, but it should be pretty much impossible for this lane to kill Sumail unless he makes a glaring mistake, which I don't really see happening as he is mechanically a very good player when it comes to the lane stage. So all in all, I would think that given the way the lanes are kind of shaping up, this is what EG were expecting. This is kind of what they're okay with. But at the same time, I think compLexity are also okay with this because their death profit is not going to be highly prioritized in the early game. And if for whatever reason EG start trying to gank, you always have Enchantress to fall back on to help you try to control that early game.
Indeed, and as you said, the death profit hit on that solo safe lane up against Universe's Tide. They talked about it on the panel. Death Prophet should have no trouble finding farm down here, and it's showing at the moment 6 for 1. But at the same time, University's getting something as well. Oh, we'll see Chessie just moving there with a Siphon, keeping the Tide Hunter at bay. But as you said, as long as this stays 1-on-1, you expect the trades to continue to be even in terms of farming?
Well, AG will pull ahead because they have Enigma. Enigma farms faster than anyone. Like this hero just destroys the jungle. It's not even close. So that being said, EG has the greedier lineup. That's pretty much all we talk about when, or all we mean when we refer to greed, is the fact that one team will be able to get more out of the early laning phase of the game if it's static. And again, that all depends on what Z-Freak wants to do, if he wants to prioritize going for trying to pressure a lane. The problem is, you can't really pressure mid, because you need a very specific creep to kill Sumail. And you're also going to need to toss back onto a tower if you want to kill him too. As pretty much the worst thing that's going to happen is what we just saw there. He's going to eat a combo, eat a couple of spirits, then he'll either have to bottle crow or he'll have to go back to base. And then you can maybe kill top, but then you're also going to need a dust for that.
For at the moment, mentioned earlier, is continuing to do this pretty much uninterrupted. We'll see. I was just heading over, but not going to go any closer here to the Enigma. At the same time, over on the side of the Radiant, we're seeing some lovely stacks being done here by Z-Freak, just trying to give on the Tiny that edge that he did get in the first game. We saw a lot of stacking done by compLexity, so Limp got that kind of just that initial burst of goals, so he got the good timing on the blink and was able to be as effective as we saw him be in the mid-game fights.
I think it's going to be more of the same here too, because again, it's a hero that he's playing that's not necessarily going to have to be a hard position 1. Now granted, in game 1 he had a standout performance, so he was just owning everything with the help of Handskin. This game I think it's going to be more of the same. Just get the stacks, get the blink dagger going, try to initiate for your team. Sumail taking quite a bit of damage here. Going to be forced to bottle up, and this is also another game where there's a lot of good kill targets for this Tiny. Like you have the Venge, you have the Queen, who typically doesn't build into too much health items, at least in the very early stages of the game. You know, maybe Sumail picks up like a casual casual point booster for Aghanims later. That's probably going to be one thing to look for, but the rest of the heroes aren't really that hard to combo down.
At the moment, everybody talks about Swindles on this Beastmaster. He's found himself level 4 at this point. RTZ, he's getting a good amount of, he's top of the board. A little bit better start for him than he had in game 1, but 23 for 6. He'll be happy with that. Do you imagine we'll see him go for the same kind of build? Does he need to prioritize the BKB as early as he did in game 1 this time around?
I don't know if BKB is really even that good.
Yeah.
Like you have Roar, Spirit Siphon goes through BKB, Exorcism goes through BKB. And looking for a kill here, middle lane. Nice blink, okay. But yeah, I don't think BKB is very good at all, actually. The only thing that you're stopping really is Spirits and the stun toss from Tiny.
Still, bottom lane, what's going on here? We've got a bit of a walk around where Chessie's coming in close. And in terms of the skill build here, maxing out the Siphon, it's going to be great in terms of zoning out the Tide.
Yeah, it's a standard build. Even if you're 1v1 mid, this is what you do. Because you're more about the lane dominance now than you are even pushing out the wave just by spamming the Crypt Swarm. So this build is kind of what we've been seeing when Death Prophet was being picked quite a bit a week or two ago, maybe even, I think it was longer than that, but she had seen a little bit of play. People found out that you could gank her and then she kind of fell off, so putting her in the safe lane I think is a nice alternative way of doing it, just saying ganking the safe lane with the lineup that EG has is actually fairly difficult. Like they can send the Enigma down, like Blitz was suggesting on the couch, but Enigma most of the time just wants to sit in the woods and farm. Like this guy has got 44 CS at 5 minutes, and yes, of course, they are jungle creeps, so they don't necessarily give the same amount of farm as a lane, but Pair, he's level 6, Sumail's level 6, they're pretty much identical in terms of experience and net worth.
Now, this could be the rotation that Chessie might not expect. RTZ, now level 6, just TPs into the bottom lane. I was hoping to eat a creep here, but none in the camp at this point. Might try and just go at it anyway if Chessie comes a bit too far forward, but Chessie is actually going to start to back away here. And this could be potentially just time wasted for RTZ if he doesn't find a kill off the back of this. Really wants to try and make something happen with the fact that he's just hit that level 6, and he's just going to break the invis and just go for a couple of hits. It's not going to result in anything, and this is just going to be timeout farming here for RTZ.
That was a really nice attempt because he knew the next creep wave would give Universe 6, and having Ravage plus the Clinks there would almost assuredly kill the Death Prophet.
Oh, hand scan, he will tether across. Nice avalanche for Limp, holding back Fear and Samael. The Sonic Wave coming through will just clip hand scan on the edge, and that's going to be your first spud there for the Quap.
Bottom
Only
lane.
just though.
Yeah, very dead Death Prophet.
And RTZ stuck around, and here's the combo you talked about, just setting up with the Ravage. Chessie trying to keep himself alive there with the Siphon. It's not going to be powerful enough, and a second kill on the board for EG, and RT's little adventure to the bottom lane does end up paying off.
That's a kind of gank that is a little bit hard to anticipate. Like the first time he backed up, maybe he just assumed since there was a fight going on towards the top river that there was a low probability that there would be a Clinks kind of just sitting there and going for a kill on him. But during this time, Swindle did manage to hit level 6, so they're not pressuring his lane so much anymore. And PPD is also closing in on the same. He's going to have swap in the next creep wave or two. And I think they want to try to go for a dive here. PPD might need a teleport here.
Oh, so, he's going to try and TP, but Swindles, he's got the raw. He says, PPD, I'm taking you downtown, and he'll get the kill. There'll be a TP coming through from RTZ. Fierce rotating around as well, and Swindles looks like he will get punished here. Look at the Malefice down. RTZ with the right clicks is going to be more than enough to find that kill in return. So Swindles does pay for his sins, taking down PPD, but EG's there to back up their captain and get the revenge kill.
Yeah, it was a little bit of over-aggression. I think it's not too bad, though. Maybe at the end of the day, it's slightly favoring EG just because it was an off-lane position. They get the tower deny. Of course, a couple of people were given credit for the experience and goal of the kill itself. So EG is seeming pretty solid in this early game. And I think that, for the most part, complexity's lineup is going to get a lot stronger once the Tiny has the blink, of course, and then once the IO has relocate. Very similar to game 1 where they kind of need that timing, and to be honest, the laning phase is fairly reminiscent of game 1. It's like EG, they're winning the lanes, they're doing everything they need to do, and then as soon as relocate came online and the blink came out from Limp, complexity just flipped the game on its head, so we'll see if the same happens here.
Easy continue to sneak around here. He's going to look at Z-Freak. He's trying to go for this one. Untouchable seeming to be just enough to keep himself alive. We've got the heal and will pop the dust. He's going to catch Artur. The Spirit's flying through and Hanskin chucked in. They're trying to chase down the Clinks. PPD is around. He hasn't got level 6 yet, so he's not going to have a swap to save Artur if they do get the catch out. And tossing forward the Ench. Chessie's there as well, but the dust, it runs out. RTZ, lucky to get away there, was able to juke him out long enough. Make him chase for the duration of the dust to wear off, and RTZ's going to be a lucky survivor.
I think they want to go back in. He can just eat a creep, and they can go back down. There's Ravage up in about 5 seconds.
Now let's see if Chessie expects this. Does he just assume that Artur would have backed off after that?
He is spooked.
And the drawing's being made. In fact, Chessie, he's starting to run back. RTZ still wanting to get in position. He's got PPD there as well. Chessie could be in trouble if they catch him out with a stun. But at the same time, there is a smoke from complexity, so they could try and turn this one around. They will lose Chessie here on the Death Prophet, but they might be able to find RTZ and PPD in return. Here comes the rotation. Swindle's moving in, looking for Artur. Artur Sintail down to the south. They'll pop out the dust, but it doesn't quite catch RTZ. RTZ will be fine. PPD made it out to the east. So to lose Chessie down the Death Prophet and complexity, send the whole team in, but they can't quite catch anyone out in return.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate smoke because not only did they waste it, but they lost a hero in the time that they smoked, so it was not as effective as they wanted it to be. But again, Limp is closing in on the Blink Dagger. Once he gets that, they're going to be able to team fight, no problem. The one thing, though, that's kind of concerning is the fact that we haven't really even seen Exorcism be used one time. I think it's very common for teams who pick Death Prophet nowadays, especially considering at level 1, Exorcism is quite a bit better than it used to be. Like, it used to be like 3 or 4 spirits at one point without having any points into Witchcraft, but now it's up to 8, obviously, to supplement the fact that Witchcraft doesn't exist as a skill anymore. And it's still more, even with accounting for the Witchcraft, than it ever was. And I think you can just use that to push, but it doesn't seem like they want to try to group up this early. They're just prioritizing the level 6 on the Wisp and Blink before that.
Well, it's easy. He's following around here, getting the intel. And one thing we've got to mention as well, the fact that Fear, he was getting a lot of space up top whilst that was all going down. It's 10 minutes in, he's got his mech done, nearly level 9 on the Enigma.
Yeah, he is mega farmed, actually. This is really a rough situation for Cole. I was talking about how it felt similar to the first game, but one of the big differences is EG don't have drastically inferior teamfight this game. Teamfight is actually extremely good.
Oh, swap onto Swindles, into the magic missile. Arteezy is there with the damage. They'll take down the Beastmaster Limb. Gets the Avalanche touch on onto Arteezy, but the mech comes through. There's your Ravage for Universe. Fear trying to move into position. They'll just focus down Limp there with the Eidolons. They'll get IO as well. There's Universe, brings down the anchor onto the little ball. 3 dead on complexity. And EG there just right on top of complexity, just messing around in the mid lane.
I don't know, man. They just don't really seem to be on the same page right now. Last game, they were a well-oiled machine, and Z-Freak also going to be getting dove here.
Oh,
Middle
man.
lane, see you later.
That's a 4th one, and Chessie, the last one standing, trying to find a tier 2. Artur is going to hang around, jumps on Carty, and trying to get himself in position, but Chessie did get the Siphon off here.
Courier.
So Arteezy, oh, the Courier as well. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Artur pays with his life. He does get the Courier. That is Limp's blink gone for 3 minutes. I mean, we could talk about whether that was worth it there from Arteezy Toozy.
Well, blink for 3 minutes is a big deal, but middle
So they're
lane...
just Sonic waving the hell out of Swindles. Universe gets on the anchor smash. That might be enough to keep him alive. In fact, it looks like it is. Limp can't quite get the punches through. Sumail clears up the eye on the backlines as well. So everything is happening everywhere. People are dying, but Blink on the sideline for 2.5 minutes for this Tiny.
Yeah, it's really bad news for complexity. Their Wisp is still not 6. Getting into 13, 14 minute plus territory where you definitely want to try to be level 6 by that point. EG just seemed to have a much better laning phase than complexity, and I believe that the panelists also said that between game 1 and game 2. EG just have mechanically skilled players who normally more out of their lane than what complexity do. And when complexity don't have the superior teamfight composition, it doesn't really feel like they can really do anything against what EG have put together here. So Enigma tide opening so far from EG seems to be working out very well for them.
You're just going to go for Roche. It doesn't look like complexity going to be able to do anything to contest this. They should be able to take this one down at a pretty reasonable rate. That is going to be the Aegis going the way of EG almost certainly. Something else for the next fight that they're going to have ready to go. As you said, EG certainly turning up a lot more here in game 2 than they did in game 1. 10 for 2 at this point. About a 6k net worth lead. Nothing too insane, but 13 minutes in. Still one that complexity are going to be worried about. A few little things as well that's putting them on the back burners, as you said. The slow level 6 is coming out, some of the key heroes. Limp without his blink, putting Colin in quite a rocky position at the moment.
Well, there are a couple of nice things for complexity. The fact that Chessie's going to be level 11 soon is nice. Level 2 Exorcism is quite literally twice as good as level 1. They could catch Swindle here.
It looks like they will. They've got 4. They picked up 5 coming in. Swindles. Off you go, son. Arteezy with the kill. More money into the bank of the Clinks. Swindles was desperate to try and finish up that tier 2, but on his own, and they were right on top of that. But at the same time, mid lane, you've got Chessie trying to finish off the tier 1. Will do some of the exorcism. Gets the silence onto Universe. Be a little bit careful. The rest of EG coming across the map. Maybe see if they can get anyone here off the back of Complexity's retreat. They'll keep it safe, they keep it cool, and Chessie gets away with that one.
That was a nice trade. The problem that I think that they're running into is the way that you use Exorcism is very important when you're playing Death Prophet. Like if you see the way that EG are playing, they're fighting around their ultimates and then they're pushing towers after the fact. Whereas Complexity, they're kind of getting picked. They pop the Death Prophet ult and they are going for towers, but they have it for the team fight. And I really think that if they don't have it for the team fight, then you actually can't even think about trying to 5 versus 5 against EG. It's just way too hard. There's Black Hole, there's Ravage, there's Queen Ulti. Just the sheer amount of damage output and control that they have in a 5 versus 5 is too much to handle.
Yeah, and talking about the Queen Ulti, Sumail, he is of course going for the Aghanims. He's just 1k gold away from it, and exactly that thing, the team fight timing, the fact that with a 40-second cooldown, you're pretty much able to fight, 2-3 times within the duration of Chessie waiting for Exorcism to come back online each and every time, which is going to be huge in this kind of game.
Yeah, cooldowns are everything when you're playing these types of lineups where if Exorcism is down, team fight is lost. If it's up, you might be able to win. That's pretty much how Complexity have to look at this game. You can't fight around 2.5-minute ultimates and expect to be able to win the engagement if the enemy team has theirs and you don't have yours. So with that being said, the game is a very different dynamic than game 1 because complexity can't just always look for the fight. Even right now, Universe is farming this bottom lane. They can't go for him. Like
they can't burst down that, and that's Universe's blink done.
This is the big contrast that we're talking about. It's like complexity just don't have the team fight control.
Oh, let's see what a call's going to be. Sounds like a dust was popped there just to see if they could find a random Artoria. Going to be the case. It's easy. He's on a bit of a mission here, looking to track down Z-Freak. See if he can do anything about this one. He's going to go for it. It's the Centaur. Going to be enough damage though, Z-Freak with the heal. It's unable quite yet to just sit there and burst down an Enchantress that easy.
It's a little bit of a pain getting through the Ench, but I don't think they're going to be too torn up about it. He's still in a fairly dominant position here in game number 2.
Yes. They've got Ravage and Black Hole ready for this push.
I mean, until we see a team fight where complexity use all of their abilities in conjunction and not just use Death Prophet for a split pusher, we're not going to have a really 100% sure understanding of how difficult the game's going to be for them. But as it stands right now, it ain't looking great.
Top lane Swindles and Sumail giving it a bit of some. Sumail went out with the Sonic Wave, but Swindles just turns around with the Primal Roar. Oh, Sumail blinking out just in time, but talking about blinks, Limp comes in with the Avalanche and Sumail. Oh! He's still alive, he's still alive, gets off the secondary blink. He will escape.
I mean, he's got Aegis anyway, so he doesn't go for that kill unless he has 2 lives.
It's gonna be not easy. He loves this Enchantress. He's always hunting down Z-Freak. He's going to go for a bit of a tempting maybe. He does have Fear here as well, and Z-Freak could be in trouble. And the heal, not going to be enough to save him this time. That's going to be a dead Ench. RTZ being credited with the kill.
Damage output is insane. Plus, like, having Strafe, it's 130 attack speed. Untouchable, I think, is like 1.
I think it's 130 max.
Yeah, they're both 130,
much,
so it
exactly
completely negates Touchable, which is quite nice. But still, EG maintain full map control. Still got Aegis up on Sumail if they want to try to push. And go for the tier 1 offlane. It's pretty much a free tower at this point. I don't think there's any reason why complexity would want to contest the tier 1.
PPD eyeing up Limp, the swap into the stun. Limp will get off the Avalanche, but at the same time, the rest of EG, they pick off the eye on the sidelines because there's going to be no save for Limp. Ravage comes through the Universe just in time to stop the TP. They'll take down the Tiny as well.
And do you know how manly you have to be to throw out a Ravage like that?
Yeah.
I mean, he already had the TP started. And then
he knew he had it. Universe knew he had it.
He's just like, I got it. No problem. Almost max range Ravage.
And when Universe says he's got it, he's got it.
He definitely does. This is a very, very tough game for complexity at this point. It got out of hand pretty early, to be honest. Like, just the simple fact that the rotation early on, they killed Chessie. They were talking about it on the couch. It wasn't Fear that rotated. It ended up being Artor just having to disable, and the Clinks is more than enough to kill. Just a Death Prophet.
Top lane Swindles. You're lucky that Universe doesn't have that Ravage, of course, has already used Chessie. He's coming in, but EG, they've got a full 5-man. What the smoke there? Just quickly dispelled, and they jump straight into the chest. They get the swap. They'll be the Roar to Universe, but Universe, he's already used the Ravage. They don't need his ultimate that bad. They're going to lose the Death Prophet. Hansken gets tossed in. Lim! He says, take the IO. We'll give you him as kind of a trade-off if you let the rest of us live. And the rest of them do, but Chessie and Hansken down for that.
It was a peace offering.
It was, yes.
After game 1, Cole were like, alright, we messed up, we're sorry. Here, take this Wisp. Please leave us alone.
Have this gift, sir.
Yep. EG, though, feeling pretty unstoppable right now. This kind of shows, I think that complexity had some ideas to try to deal with the Enigma Tide, but they had to have known that EG were running it. Because when we see it earlier on in the tournament and just understanding that Universe and like PPD and Fear play those heroes and they've been known to do it in the past, this is something that you kind of have to be able to see coming, right?
I mean, it is and we've seen one of the other teams, of course, we saw do it a few times with Secret.
Right.
With the Misery, Puppy stuff, swap onto Chessie, did get off the Exorcist in the Avalanche, toss is nice, RTZ falling low, and it'll go down, but the Black Hole from Fear! 4 heroes being sucked in! Universe comes in with the Anchor Smash, 4 dead, 5 dead! EG clean up house, and Fear turning up with the biggest Black Hole yet of this tournament.
Well, if the game wasn't already difficult, that just made it a heck of a lot worse. It was a very, very heavy commitment though. As soon as Chessie gets swapped, compLexity have to go. Especially since the ultimate was popped too, so it's going to be a pretty easy Rax here, 21 minutes in, give or take, for EG. Only 3 kills on the side of compLexity, and I gotta say, if they thought that they had a way of dealing with this type of lineup, this was not the way. I don't know if Z-Freak just couldn't find any opportunities to go for kills, but I think the way that Peter ended up drafting this is he says, all I want to do is make sure that my solo lanes are hard to gank, because then the Enchantress has a really hard time influencing the laning phase in a big way. And since we pick Enigma, we know that we're going to be getting more out of the laning phase so long as every hero stays alive on our team. And just going off that and the idea that they have insane teamfight potential and a good amount of damage split as well, it's just been a total massacre so far here in Game 2.
It just feels like the Tanio. The great first game, but if there's a team that you're not going to be able to pull the same kind of stuff against twice, it's EG.
Yeah.
Because PPD is you did that first time, work out what to do the second time.
Why is PPD a 1960s gangster? Why did he turn into that? I don't know,
but this is some gangster stuff right here from EG.
Their adaptation has always been phenomenal, though. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that is a hallmark of EG, is their ability to... I mean, they're literally known for going to the lower bracket, and then going through the lower bracket, and then winning. That's what EG do. So, adaptation, always going to be something on a checklist if you're talking about this team. So, okay, compLexity just tap out.
Whew,
Personally...
Okay.
I think they only did it because it said 322.
Oh, that was a lovely rabbit universe. Do it again with you.
Oh, and it was 322.
322?
Oh, 3 to 22.
Oh!
Guarantee you that's why they GG'd.
No, I'm an idiot. I had a cheeky alt tab to Twitch. I was like, why is everyone saying 322? No one's throwing this one.
No, I mean,
it's the score.
To be perfectly fair though, all joking aside, this game was not close. It was pretty brutal.
There was no throwing, apart from the hands can getting chucked in the middle of EG.
Yeah, but at that point, I think it's fair to say that it was already kind of heavily EG's game to lose.
The balls were already way past any kind of use, but EG, they're bringing it back with quite some force. It's going to go to a Game 3. I can't wait. You can't wait. I'm sure everyone at home watching can't wait, so we won't wait. Back to the panel.
Thanks, so.